you go.
Good afternoon. We're here for the next edition of Driven Women TV. The purpose of Driven Women TV is to further the message of Cape Cod's Conference for Women and its mission and its vision, which is to bring women together under one roof and share useful and relevant information that would inspire them to go out and be the change in their own community. Much like our guest today, Serena Low-Piccolo-Smith with Falmouth Wants a Why, and Joanne Treisman, also with Falmouth Wants a Why. Welcome, ladies.
Thank
you for having us.
Thank you. So, Serena, you had the opportunity to attend Cape Cod's Conference for Women last year. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience?
Oh yeah, I'm happy to. It was amazing. It was amazing. There was like a storm raging outside, and it was the day of the blizzard. And still there were more than 400 women at least in that room, and the energy was palpable, and the speakers were outstanding, very, very inspirational. And I loved the keynote speaker also during lunch. She spoke about surviving Cancerland, shared her experience. I'm really looking forward to come back this next year.
Awesome. We're really working hard this year to bring a dynamic program to Cape Cod and the surrounding areas, something that the women of Cape Cod can be proud of. There are so many women here on Cape Cod who are doing business, small business women, entrepreneurs, people in professional areas of work and personal development as well. So I'm really just getting to meet so many women who are doing so many wonderful things here on Cape Cod, much like these two women here who are working hard to bring a YMCA to Falmouth, correct? So Joanne, can you just tell me about your involvement with the organization?
Well, my husband and I are now retired here after 40 years of summers at the Marine Biological Laboratory. And I'm a swimmer, and I came here and I thought, well, you know, we have to do something about getting a pool. I know that it's been voted down year after year. And then I heard that this community has some issues, has some problems, and I began to think, well, what can I do? I have experience working with young people. I have experience, you know, developing programs. Well, I met Serena, and she told me about Falmouth Wants a YMCA. Well, I had helped get a YMCA in Central Mass. I served on the board as president. I was with the Central Mass YMCA, and I said, a YMCA will be so terrific in this community. It's going to be us creating it, it's grassroots, and it's going to meet the needs that we have in our community. This is not a cookie cutter building that gets placed down. It's a process that we all go through together, and we create our why and we run our why through our community committees. And so I'm very happy to be working with both of you, but also the wonderful people on our community committee as well.
And we're glad to have you.
Thank you.
That word community. I think people are really seeing the need in the sense to go back to community where people work together and bring in all ages, because we are a community, and I think that is, I'm thinking it's the key to a lot of things that ail our communities, making the connection from the youth to the older people, and how to get all of us on board to be the change in our own communities, much like the vision and the mission of Cape Cod's Conference for Women. So Serena, can you take us back to the beginning of how Falmouth Wants a Why came to be?
Absolutely. This all started about 3 years ago, and I was invited to one of the very first meetings at Steve Walsh's house. He's an engineer Hui, who first had the idea of inviting a YMCA to town, because that's how it works. YMCA is not Walmart. They don't just come and expand to a new town. They are invited by the community. And Steve was a swimmer, and he really wanted a pool. And like Joanne said, there seemed to be no chance to build a pool in this community because it was voted down already twice. And so he thought about inviting the YMCA because, of course, he made the connection that almost all YMCAs have a pool. And so he started, you know, reaching out to people, friends, and somehow I got invited. And that's where I met two people that became very important in my life. One is Laura Lincoln. She is now the co-chair of the Falmouth Community Committee, and she's also one of my best friends. And she's the one who had a dream about this. One day she dreamt about a YMCA being built in Falmouth, and somehow a few days later, she heard about Steve's effort, and she was really surprised about that. So she immediately went to that meeting, and she and I connected immediately. And a few months later, we decided to really do something about it. Instead of just hoping that something was done, we decided to take the matter in our hands. And we started this grassroots organization of volunteers that we call Falmouth Once a Why. It's a very engaging name, and I love how a lot of people think that the name is actually Falmouth Needs a Why, and that tells us a lot about it.
Yes.
And now we have over 400, I think it's 450 contacts on our mailing list, and many of them are active volunteers that we engage whenever we need something to do, such as the needs study or community forums that we've done last year, and or other activities. Like, for example, now we have decided to participate in the Christmas parade, and because the YMCA is also a chamber member, as is Falmouth Once a Why, and so we decided it was a great idea to have our presence, to show our presence there. And so we would love to have people coming, walking with us, walking behind us, and showing support by doing that. And we also have a Facebook page, Falmouth Once a Why, which has over 1,300 likes, I believe. And how many have we decided that we would like to get
We
to?
would 2,000
2,000
by the
likes.
end of the year.
Sure.
So here's your chance.
That's a lot of energy and a lot of things that have happened. It just goes to show how an idea, a dream can be ignited, and how change can actually happen in the community when people band together and get behind one another and invite each other to come into the process and do the work. I think that's a personification of what collaboration really means. I had the opportunity to be there from the beginning because I am a committee member as well, and also a board member on the Cape Cod YMCA along with Serena. And just to see the hard work and the determination that goes into this process, that we won't be stopped, we won't take no for an answer, that we're going to find ways to answer the needs of the community. And Joanne, do you want to talk about the youth portion of that, and how we're working along with youth to bring this up?
And as Serena was saying, she did some focus groups, and the teens, the youth of this town want to be involved. They want to be part of this. And one of the wonderful things that we can do is to respect them and guide them, mentor them, and show them that what their ideas are important, and that we can help them to achieve what they think. I mean, at a Y, there is a place for everybody. There are programs that the youth can develop themselves, programs for the younger children. There's always something that's going to be going on. The Y is usually open 5:30 in the morning till 9 at night. So there's always people there, there's always a place to go, things to do. So, you know, we're very excited that we can bring this. We really are very pleased.
Sure. And with the opiate epidemic being so prevalent here in Cape Cod and the surrounding areas, on the news everywhere, young people are dying through addiction. I think there's something that we all can do. And I think the YMCA could be an answer, part of an answer to that. When you engage youth and give them alternatives to things, and also have mentors. I think that bringing a YMCA here would also create opportunities for work, for jobs for people.
Absolutely. Right.
Just be a safe place for families to all get together. From the time you walk in the door, you have a place for your young children, as well as a place to exercise and take care of some of your own personal needs. So I think it's one of the only organizations that really touches the whole man.
Everybody.
Right.
Correct? The whole person
Well,
from young to
you
old.
find in YMCA's that the child watch is something that goes on while the parent is exercising, but then there's preschool activities, there are achiever programs, and there's space sometimes to even have people come in and do karate classes or ballet classes. It just becomes whatever the community wants it to become.
Sure.
And to meet this issue with the young people having addiction problems, if you read some of the stories that parents are now beginning to tell, and the young people are beginning to tell, is that they just didn't have anything to do. They were hanging out. So they thought they'd try this or they thought they'd try that. Well, in the old days, kids had jobs, they had chores on the farm. Now they don't have that. They go home from school, there might not be anybody home. We need a place. We need some work for them. I mean, this can be their work of going and creating and, you know, helping be part of the community.
And hanging.
And
that's
hanging, right.
what they do.
Just a place to belong, correct?
Yeah, a place to belong,
belong.
a place to gather.
And the other thing is the training. I must mention that in my Y experience, there's super training for everybody who works there.
Sure.
It's nationally mandated, but it's also supervision is there. So you know that you have high quality,
high standards,
and high standards for every program that's present.
So Serena, I hear the term "we're not just a gym and swim."
Oh yeah.
Can you take us back? You know, go back to the beginning and tell us and bring us up to how the steps that are taken to get where you are now in the process of bringing this YMCA to the Upper Cape and to Falmouth in particular.
Well, mostly the first step, of course, was to go and talk to the YMCA Cape Cod. And the new, relatively new President and CEO, Stacy Pugh, was very welcoming, and she is now extremely important in this process. She's offering guidance and leadership, and she's really working with us every step of the way. And the YMCA has done this for 160 years. And there's over 10,000 YMCAs in the country. And there's also YMCAs in other countries.
Right.
Actually, I think it started in England originally. And so there is a process, and it's a successful process. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. And so this process starts with, first of all, finding out if the community really needs a Y. Because one thing is to want a Y, but another thing is to see if there is the need. And so there's a first volunteer-based need study that we did about 2 years ago. And we volunteers, you were involved too, I remember, interviewed over 50 people in different demographics. So we had some teens. The teens that participated, they were interviewed, they were instrumental in finding out the needs of that part of the community. We interviewed some elderly, we interviewed some parents, we interviewed some adults who have no children, we interviewed people between 20 and 30 who, or people just out of college. So, because we want to make sure that we heard everybody's needs. And 3 major needs came out from that study. And the first and foremost, of course, was year-round swimming for children and for adults. And the second one was affordable childcare, and that need has already been fulfilled, at least partially. In fact, there is a new early education center.
Yes, there is.
Yes,
In
North Falmouth, located at the North Falmouth Congregational Church. And it's beautiful. It's very well run, and they started last February, and they already, they have enrolled a lot of people, a lot of kids, and actually recently they opened 2 more rooms to, accept more kids. And I want to say something about that was very interesting to me. Originally, it was going to start, the hours of operation were supposed to be from 8 till 5, or 8:30 till 5, as most of the child care centers are in town. And I met somebody on someplace at the grocery store, and she said, "Oh, I wish it started at 6:30 because I'm a high school teacher, and I have a friend who's a nurse, and we cannot go back to work because it's too complicated for us to find child watch or child care before the child care opens." And so I brought that need back to the CEO of the YMCA Cape Cod, and sure enough, they changed the hour of operation, and now it opens at 6:30 in the morning. I believe it's the only one in town, and closes at 5:30, which is half an hour later than most childcare centers. So people can go out of work at 5, and then they have time to go
Cape
pick up
Cod
their kids.
YMCA is really key in meeting the needs of the community, and really, I know that we are because I am on the board of directors at the YMCA, celebrating our 50th year on Cape Cod, and that's really exciting. There's programs like, Camp Linden, where kids enjoy outdoor activities all summer, anything from crafts to swimming and horseback riding, and it does span across Cape Cod from Provincetown to Bourne. They have buses that bring children into Camp Linden, so that's really exciting. Also, we were fortunate to have Cape Cod YMCA as our host nonprofit at Cape Cod's Conference for Women last year. We were able to give them the proceeds from our silent auction. So I was really honored to be able to do that. And this year, the CEO, Stacy Pugh, will be on our opening panel. The theme this year is Women Who Make a Difference on Cape Cod. So along with Cheryl Bartlett from Cape Cod Healthcare, Fiona Jensen from A Calmer Choice, Andy Geisner from We Can, Lucetta Hurge Putnam from Independence House, and others, they will open our conference. So I'm really excited about that. Just kind of highlighting how one woman could make such an impact on Cape Cod. And I think we're all stars in our own right, in that we see a need and we are driven women, and we respond to that need. And I know I've known Serena for quite a long time, and I've seen the progression and all the persistence and the work that would go into something like that, because you can't do it alone.
Certainly not.
However, we do need someone at the helm cheering us on, like Serena and her co-chair, Steve Clay. So do you want to tell me who else is on the committee?
So, like you said, Steve Clay is my co-chair, and then Laura Lincoln is the vice chair. And of course, the two of you are involved, Joan Trisman and Marie Younger Blackburn. Then we have Andrew Borgesi, who's an architect in town, and Jane Murphy, who's extremely valuable. She was there from the very beginning. When there were like 3 committee members, she was one of the first ones. And then Janice Kinder from Marston's Mills, and Brian Arthur, who is the person who manages our Facebook page. And then we have also Marianne Piccirilli, who's very involved in the community. She's also one of the chartering members of the New Falmouth Kiwanis. And are we forgetting anybody? I believe
That sounds good.
we mentioned everybody. There's 10 committee members, and plus, of course, the president and CEO of the YMCA Cape Cod and her fundraising officer, PJ Richardson.
Yes. And not only that, there are many, many people in the community who are championing this effort along with us. We had an event about a week ago. Joanne, I know that you were instrumental in organizing that along with Beth Colt.
Yes, Beth Colt was just so supportive and offered the Quixhole Tavern for a appetizer cocktail party, and we presented information. We introduced people in the community. We had a tremendous response. And the interesting thing is, when people who have come here from other places but know YMCA stand up and say, if it weren't for the YMCA, I would have been a juvenile delinquent, and now I have worked for the government, I have done wonderful things. We need to have a YMCA. So that kind of inspiration just keeps us all going, and we're going to be starting Mondays at 1 o'clock at Cape Cod Bagel. We're going to meet, get ideas from people, spread the word. It's something that we're just going to keep doing and doing and doing until we get it done.
Sure. I know for myself as a working mom, a young mom, if it weren't for the YMCA, I would not be able to work. I had the pleasure of being on staff for the YMCA for many years as their food service manager at Camp Linden.
Yeah.
And I raised my boys, ages 34, 25, and now 11, through the Cape Cod YMCA Camp Linden. Chase, he's an 11-year-old boy with Down syndrome. And Cape Cod YMCA is one of the only places that I could find that could accommodate Chase and his needs. Not only does Chase, he needs a one-to-one aide to do everything. So they have been devoted to me over the years to say, Marie, whatever it is that you need, we're here to support you. And it's been a wonderful relationship. I know in the summers when I work for the College Light Opera Company, 6 days a week, that I can rest assured that Chase is in good hands, and he's doing things like boating and crafts and just getting a lot of good mentorship in swimming with other children, peer kind of modeling in a good, safe environment that has good values.
And I was so amazed at how beautiful Camp Linden is. I used to be a camp director and swimming teacher, and it's a fabulous facility, and it's so well run.
Sure.
And you know, I want to sign my grandchildren up for the summer when they get here.
It's a
but
great place.
Again, it's just one of those things that the Y does so well and tries to meet the needs of everybody.
And so the Y actually, I love how, like Joanne, for example, she got involved because she wanted a pool. And a lot of people share this experience. They are swimmers, they want a pool, family needs a pool. And then when they learn what the YMCA is, how much more than a pool it brings to the community, then all of a sudden it's like it's a aha moment for them. And they say, wait a second, we do not need just the pool. We need so much more. We need an organization that can help everybody. My husband likes to say the YMCA is for the grandchildren, to the grandparents, and everybody in between.
The lifespan. It deals with the whole man. From the time you walk in the door and you can drop your kids off somewhere safe for child watch, and you can go in and exercise. Or can you tell me about some of the other programs that they have here in Falmouth currently?
Well, yes, currently, well, I already mentioned the North Falmouth Congregational Church Daycare, and that's one. And then there's also some diabetes prevention classes that are held in collaboration with the Service Center in Falmouth, and also in Mashpee at the library. And that's a fantastic program, and hopefully more classes will be started later on when the need arises. And then they're going to bring other programs, of course, as needed, and hopefully the Junior Achievement Program will be the next one.
And I was on the Carousel of Light Committee. This summer we had our old summertime day, and Renee King came with her Drums Alive. We had such a great time, and we had volunteers from the North Falmouth Early Learning Center come and help run some of the games. So there's a sense of, yes, we're in Falmouth already.
And let's not forget Camp Linden, which is for children from Falmouth and from all over the Upper Cape, and they provide transportation.
So, and the other thing, well, just one more thing about giving back to the community. No child has to say they can't afford to come to the YMCA. The YMCA works with sliding scales, makes it possible. No one is excluded.
And no one's turned away for their inability to pay. Yes, very clear. Which is so wonderful because it's an inclusive model, and also a very collaborative model. I think the presence of the YMCA here in town would not threaten the health of other businesses. It offers an opportunity for collaboration. From everything that I hear, working with the service center with the diabetes program or other programs, we have the opportunity to collaborate with more people. And
well, even they have the silver sneakers for the senior citizens. So, you know, again, are there opportunities for that public-private collaboration that we would look forward to as well.
Sure. So Joanne, tell me about this float in the Falmouth Parade.
In the Falmouth
And
Parade.
I think it'd be so wonderful if
We
there's
really
any...
just want to highlight for people, you know, Jingle Bells is the theme, so we're going to make sure there's lots of jingling, but to show the Early Learning Center, maybe children reading a book, singing a song, maybe someone with a kayak on the back to show Camp Linden, little basketball in the middle, drums alive, and then swimming. So, you know, just show the different aspects. Falmouth wants a YMCA, Cape Cod YMCA, and Camp Linden. And little music, maybe a little YMCA music, but just to be fun.
So that's quite an ambitious project,
Yes,
and I think we should invite all those who are watching us, if you'd like to be involved or to be on the float, we would love some more teen participation.
Yes,
it's always helpful.
absolutely.
Anyone with an artistic eye or that wants to get involved with this effort. Also, like Serena said, there's an opportunity to go on to Facebook and the Falmouth Wants a Y page and contact Serena or Joanne if you have any other questions or concerns about the efforts that are going on here in town, the things that are already existing. And it's like a domino effect. There's so much more that will happen. And I'm just happy to have you guys here, and we're just excited about what's going to just continue to happen with the determination of the committee, and just seeing all the steps that are being taken to bring the YMCA to Cape Cod. Do you have any idea where you would like to see a Y in Falmouth?
That's always the first question.
That's always the first question.
Everybody says,
And the
where?
answer is always the same. It's that we are actually at a very exciting phase right now. And the result of a feasibility study will tell us what the best location will be. And so right now we are really almost at the top of the hill, because we're actually raising funds for a feasibility study. And that is extremely important, because the YMCA wants to do its homework before coming out with any information about where it will be or when it will happen. And but certainly will be somewhere central, because it will have to be reached within probably 15 minutes from everywhere on the Upper Cape.
Again, we're here with Serena Lopiccolo-Smith and Joanne Treisman from Falmouth Wants a Y. They're a group, an organization of volunteer individuals whose goal it is to bring a YMCA to Falmouth. And I just thank you so much for being here. I thank you for all the inspiration that you're providing to the community. I thank you for your energy and your commitment. It's so grassroots and so inspiring to see that a few people can really make a difference in the community, much like the mission and of Cape Cod's Conference for Women, which is to inspire people to go out there and be the change in their own community.
And I will be there. I've already registered.
Yeah.
You can go online and register now.
And Joanne was one of the first people to register. And we're happy again to say that last year we did have a table of youth that were from schools across Cape Cod. And the table was sponsored by the Atria Woodbriar right here in Falmouth. And we invite other businesses to sponsor youth, if they will, to come and to be a part of the conference. It's a chance for other youth to be inspired to go out there and to join you and other organizations who are doing things to bring about some positive change in the community. And it's so important. It really is.
If we can do it, they can do it.
Sure. So I look forward to more. I look forward to seeing the dynamic float that will be coming across down Main Street on Sunday, December 6th. Yeah.
Thank you so much for
You're
having
welcome.
us.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate you being here.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, it's great.